Hello everyone, Dr. Amanda here, your plant-based lifestyle physician and health coach who comes to educate and empower you to make healthy decisions so that you can live your most abundant life. Today we're talking about stress management and what can we do to relieve our stress. A lot of us have a lot of stress that builds up, whether it's work, our home, finances, or just the way the world is going in general. There's a lot of stressors that are out there. And most of the time, we're told to just think positive thoughts or just do affirmations and say positive things to yourself. And these are all good suggestions, but I learned that it may not be the most beneficial especially for most of us that have built up stress and built up emotions. So I describe it usually as trying to spray air freshener on poop. Not just the poop smell, but actually on poop, right? And so I said, then it's just flowery poop. And that smells even worse than just the poop, right? So we can't just think positive without definitely getting rid of the stress or the negative feelings that we may be feeling. And recently I was taught by my meditation teacher 7 steps of what she calls emotional clearing. And I actually wanted to share that with you today because I found that to be so beneficial. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter and free instead of just trying to think positive. And I'm a very spiritual person, or just read scriptures when it's just like still then that frustration is still deep down inside and I'm just trying to press it down further and further. And it just wasn't working. I mean, it would work for a brief period of time and then all of a sudden the lid would just blow off because it's like boiling pot. So the 7 stages of emotional clearing. So number 1 is to take responsibility for your feelings. And that was like life-changing to me. I'm like, that makes sense. No one else can cause you to feel a certain way or can make you feel a certain way. You have to take responsibility for how you're feeling, no matter what the other person does. So first, take responsibility for how you're feeling. And then actually, the second step would be name your feelings. So you'll say, I feel frustrated, or I feel angry, or I feel disappointed. I would never use I am frustrated because I am is very powerful, and I am should be a positive statement to help you. So you just say I and I feel like frustrated. Which definitely can be something that I feel on a regular basis. So the first step, take responsibility for your feelings. The second step is actually name how you're feeling. And then you want to notice in your body where you actually feel these feelings. And I used to think, oh, my feeling is always in my shoulders and neck because I'm always doing this throughout the day. But that's just the way my computer is, built, or the way I hold my steering wheel. But I actually been noticing more that I actually hold my breath, or actually hold my stomach or my gluteal region. And I was like, why am I tense there? And I was like, just breathe and let it go. So actually not in my shoulders and upper back where I thought I was carrying most of my stress. It's actually in my lower abdomen and gluteal region. So if you just actually notice and be aware of your body's tension, it actually will show you where you actually are feeling these feelings that you feel. Feeling these feelings that you feel. Now that's a tongue twister. And then next you want to express your emotions in private. And that's just so you don't feel like you have to like dumb down your feelings or try to make a positive spin on your feelings. So whether you go for a walk and just say you're mention your feelings like I'm feeling frustrated about this situation, and no one's you're not talking to anyone specific at this point in time. You just are expressing your feelings, or sometimes you can just write your feelings out. And I was stuck with this also because I would have like, oh gosh, a gratitude journal, which I definitely recommend gratitude journals. But sometimes it's like, okay, I got to think of 3 things I'm grateful for. And I'm like, okay, life, my children, my child, and my husband, or something like that. And I'm like, okay. But I was never expressing how I was feeling. Therefore, again, I would try to press it down and my emotions eventually would just blow up, right? So express those feelings, get them out, whether talking them out or putting them on paper where no one's necessarily around or listening. And release the constriction or the emotion that you're feeling. So, like I said, sometimes I feel it in my stomach or gluteal region. And so just like breathing, take deep breaths and just kind of moving my arms back and forth to just let my body relax. Or you can go for a walk or a run. I love doing that, especially in the middle of a work day. I just go for a walk and just like, breathing it out. Release those thoughts. The thoughts do not have to stay. It's just something that's going through your mind at the time. And as long as I don't get on it and ride the thoughts, it could just go right out of my mind, right? So that's another thing. So that was number 5. Then if you need to, you can share your emotions with someone, and preferably someone that is just going to listen and not necessarily offer you advice. So initially you may just do a toy, a toy animal or a pet, somebody that, or something that will just sit there and you can actually talk to it, that's just going to listen, and not necessarily respond or try to fix something. Because as human beings, when we hear someone talking and they have a problem, our natural instinct is to listen to respond instead of listen just to listen. And we will just like, oh, well, you should have did this, this, and this. And that's usually not what the person is looking for. They just want to release their emotions. But usually what happens when someone comes back to them with a suggestion or a possible solution to their problem, it builds in more feelings, more emotions that just causes the cycle to go over and over again. So say, for example, today I had someone, well, actually my internet connection was going in and out. And I tried to contact, the internet provider and tell them, my internet connection is out again. I definitely am trying to figure out why it's not working and what's going on. And all the things they want to do is say, I'll send you out a technician to figure it out. No, I don't want the problem. I want the problem fixed, but I want to know why it's happening, right? And so it was just, more and more frustration that built up. And then finally I just said, I just have to disconnect the call, right? This is not going to help my emotions. And I am needing to clear those emotions out before going on to the next thing, right? And then the last thing is to celebrate, and just be free from those emotions that you were feeling, right? So you took responsibility for your feelings. You actually identified your feelings. So you said, I feel, not I am, I feel. And then you actually witness where you feel it in your body. So like I said, mine, I notice now that I hold in my stomach, or my gluteal region, and that's very tense. And then I have to realize that that's what's going on. Then you express your emotions in private. So again, whether that's just talking out loud to yourself in a closed room, when you're walking, or writing in a journal and just releasing those feelings. And then release those constricted emotions in some way. So like I said, I can just kind of do this or breathe and get those emotions out, or go for a walk or a run or a hike or anything that you like to do, to just something physically that you're releasing those emotions and leaving them behind. And then share your emotions with someone, preferably someone that will not provide a solution for you, but just is there to listen. Again, a pet or a toy, or, something that you can talk to, a camera that you can talk to, that will definitely not try to solve your problems, but just listen. And as you release those emotions, and then finally celebrate that you actually got rid of those emotions and they're not building up, you're not pushing them down to later where it's just a boiling pot and you explode, right? So I want you to definitely try these 7 steps in your emotional clearing journey, trying to release stress, so that way we're not building up stress, causing more tension in our body and leading us to other things that can result in negatively in our health, because of overly stressed or emotional feelings that we're doing. Of course, you always have the option to talk with me, and I offer a free coaching call. I call it a wellness call, and you can actually schedule. You can actually look at the comments in the link, And you can actually contact me directly and schedule a time. We'll spend trying to see what we can do to help with your wellness journey, right? All right, so don't forget to actually use these 7 steps, and I want to hear how you're doing. Imagine life where you're just free and full of positive emotions and not flowery poop. All right, blessings and health, y'all. Bye-bye.